Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvenavaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudeva Indra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshu Nam Hitarthaya Tattva Bodho Vidiyate. Adi Shankaracharya in the beginning gives the invocation. Invocation to any study, any scripture is to invoke the right, conducive spirit within and without, so that we can attune ourselves into the study of the scripture and attain the goal that is intended. So in the very invocation, Adi Shankaracharya is invoking the divinity and the Guru's blessings, because without the blessings of the divinity and the Gurus, it is impossible to accomplish anything, though our efforts are important. Our effort is essential, but the effort has to mix with the anugraha. So he seeks the anugraha blessings of the divinity and the Guru Parampara, and then says, with your blessings, I am going to expound this text called Tattva Bodha to bring out the essence, knowledge of the essence, reality. And for whom is it intended to? It is intended to people who have ardent desire to liberate, who have understood that they are caught in the world, they are bound, and they need to liberate. They want to extricate themselves from the bondage. So therefore, the reason for bondage according to Vedanta is our ignorance of our true nature. So we can liberate only through knowledge of the self. Knowledge is the direct means. But for the knowledge to go in, get established in us and bring about the desired result of liberation, we need to prepare our personality. So we need to do karma yoga, bhakti yoga for chitta shuddhi and chitta ekagrata, purification of the mind and single pointedness of the mind. And to come to that level, we need certain qualifications. At least we will start doing our actions, directing our emotions and thinking towards the self. It is basically converting the mechanical existent lifestyle into yogic lifestyle. That's all it is. You don't have to change anything. You continue as you were living before. But it is now become yogic. Earlier it was just mechanical existing. Surviving was the only reason for which we were living. Now we understand that the goal is this, the purpose. Now our life becomes directed by the purpose, by the vision of the Shastras. So such a person understands that the real goal of life is attaining liberation. All else is madness. Then he understands that we need to qualify for it. So what are the qualifications? The fourfold qualifications were mentioned. Viveka, discrimination; Vairagya, discussion; and Sadhana, Chatushtaya, Sampatti, Sampanna, called the sixfold wealth: Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, Shama, mind control, Dhamma, sense control, Uparama, reveling within, identifying with the deeper things in life and minding our own business, doing what we are obligated to, being in Swadharma, Swakarma, that is Uparama. Unnecessarily, the mind is not bothered about the things around. It is focused within. Mind is turned introvert. And Titiksha, endurance, to put up with inconvenience cheerfully. And Shraddha, Shraddha is what? Shraddha is not just faith, it is faith plus conviction plus consistency. We discussed all these things. Shraddha, when you say, it can be very superficial. In fact, Shraddha they analyze into three different categories of Shraddha. Real Shraddha, that is Shraddha, and then Ashraddha, which is the opposite, which is having no faith, and then Kushraddha. Kushraddha is the problem. Kushraddha means what? Blind faith. So, what we should have is true faith. We should not have Ashraddha, we should not have Kushraddha. But unfortunately, majority of us have Kushraddha, which is blind faith. Some don't have any Shraddha. Why should I study all these Shastra? Leave it. All this is bakwas. They have no Shraddha in the Shastra. Now, other people, they say, yeah, there is something in it, but they blindly follow. In one of the classes, somebody asked, why is it that, in spite of we studying the scriptures for so many years, still we are individually and collectively also having certain traits which we should not have. The reason is we are just, rot learning the scriptures, if at all. How many of us go and really do reflection, study, question, analyze, think? We don't do that. Tattva Bodha class, Saturday, 8 to 9 in the morning we do. The teacher is going on lecturing. You listen. And while you are listening, maybe your mind goes here and there. And then class is over, you keep the book somewhere. And you search for it only next week, Saturday morning, before 8 o'clock. Now, this way you can never really, gain the knowledge. It won't bring about a difference in your personality or in your environment through you. It's only by struggling with it, suffering with it, putting in that effort. That only can help. So, that's why we say self-study is a must. So, when you have Shraddha, you will not blindly believe in the words of the Guru. Shraddha is explained by Adi Shankaracharya in this as faith in the words of the Guru and Shastra. Now, faith doesn't mean blind faith. Many things the Guru said was also your experience, no problem. You accept it. When he says you have a body, you have this mind, you have this intellect, no problem. But then when he talks about Atma, suddenly you say, Kya? What did you say? I don't think so. That is Ashraddha. Kushraddha is yes, that is Atma. Blindly believing. Shraddha is, I understand when he said, I have a body, I have a mind, I have an intellect. But when he said Atma, I don't understand. But many things what he said made sense, logically proven, verifiable. So, he has no axe to grind. Then there is something else he saying, which I am not able to understand. Like Arjuna says in the Bhagavad-gita, Jayasi chet karmanaste matabuddhir janardhana tatkim karmani gorema niyojayasi keshava vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim moh yasiva me tadekam vada nishchitya ena shreyoham apniyam. In the third chapter, he is asking Sri Krishna. Very beautifully he says, Vyamishreneva Vakyena Buddhi Mohayasiva. That Iva is very important word in this shloka. Vyamishrena Iva. Mohayasi Iva. Means what? Apparently perplexing speech of yours, you are confusing as it were my understanding. Apparently and as it were. Iva means as though, like. He is not accusing Sri Krishna that you are confusing me. He says, you are as it were. Means what? I am not able to understand what you are saying. I need to think more. I need to inquire more. I need to put in that effort more. This is called Shraddha. And in the Gita he says elsewhere, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Only a person with Shraddha can gain knowledge. So, Shraddha, faith, plus conviction, plus consistency, till we bring about the transformation. It's called Shraddha. That is another important quality. Then, Samadhana, focus. A mind that is single-pointed and focused. These are the six-fold wealth, he says. So, if you come to Shastra, this is what they call as wealth. What we call as wealth, they don't call that as wealth. In fact, if you have this wealth, then you will easily attain that wealth to how much ever level you want to achieve it. I want, I don't want, that is different. But how much ever I want, I will be able to achieve it if I have this. And wealth, the external wealth, being something that is passing and fleeting, when it is taken away, you will still be rooted and grounded and not affected. And these are the wealth that needs to be gained. We don't care about this wealth. We only care about that external wealth. These are sixfold qualifications. Shamadhi Shatka Sampati. Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi Shatka Sampati. And then, last but not the least, most important, Mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means that burning desire to liberate. If somebody's head catches fire, they're not bothered about anything. They just run towards a pond or a river or a lake, just jump into it. Like that, you should feel that I'm bound. I'm bound by this equipment, I'm bound by this surroundings, bound by all this. I need to extricate myself. How do I do that? That desire. If you have all these qualifications, to the extent you have these qualifications, to that extent you can get into the inquiry into the truth, he says. Right? So then when you say inquiry into the truth, what is that inquiry into the truth? What are you meaning by into the truth? Tattva Viveka Kaha. We studied up to that. We were analyzing that. So let me share that screen with you. Can you see it? Can you all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Swamiji.
So, Tattva Viveka Kaha. This is where we were in the last class. Atma Satyam. Tadanyat Sarvam Mityeti. So, Tattva. This Tattvam. Tvam generally means you. But Tvam in this context means the nature. When you say Manushyatvam, right? When you say Manushyatvam, means what? What is the nature of Manushya, human being? So similarly, Tattvam means what is the nature of that? That means that real. What can we call as real? Basically, we are saying, I'm bound by this world, bound by this body, mind, intellect, bound by all that is happening. So then we need to analyze the world, analyze this body, mind, intellect, all that is happening, everything we need to analyze and find out whether they are real or not. That's called Tattva Viveka. So, inquiry into the truth of all these experiences that we are going through. See, we seldom question these things, isn't it? We have taken these things for granted. We don't realize that we are bound because we have taken this for granted. Therefore, the thing that Vedanta says is start this inquiry. Tattva Viveka Kaha. What is the inquiry into truth mean? Inquiring into all our experiences and trying to extricate the essence from it. That is the meaning of Tattva Viveka. And then he explains, what is that? When you do that inquiry, he says, Atma Satyam Tat Anyat Sarvam Mityeti. Mitya iti. Atma alone is Satyam, real. Everything else other than that, Tat Anyat Sarvam Mithya iti, are all Mithya. Now, this word Satya and Mithya needs to be understood. Now, the moment when we say we are doing inquiry into the truth, we are doing Viveka, discrimination, we are discriminating, separating the truth from our experiences. That means there is something mixed with truth in our experience. What is mixed? Can what is mix with what is not? Is it possible? It's not possible. What is there. What is not there. How can what is not there be mixed? Therefore, the mixture here or the analysis here is not between Sat and Asat. Asat means that which is not there. Sat means that which is there. That which is not there. In the example we usually discuss in the Shastra is horns of a man. Is there horns of a man? There is no horns. So it doesn't exist only. So that which is and that which is not, there is no mixture. Yet we have to separate something. What is? That which is not but seems to be there. That's called Mithya. When you analyze, it will go away. But it is available to your senses and mind. That is called the world, and that is what he calls as Mithya. Means that which has no independent existence. So Satya means that which has independent existence. And Asat means that which does not exist, non-existent. Mithya means that which does not have independent existence, that means which has dependent existence. That's called Mithya. So in this inquiry, this is what we are going to do. Atma Satyam, Atma alone is real, Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya iti. Reality is that which existed in the past, present and future. That which exists at all periods of time as the same. That is real. So then if we subject all our experiences to this definition of reality, then none stands the definition of reality. So can we then reject it by saying it is all non-existent? We can't, because now for our senses and mind, they are existent. Isn't it? For our senses and mind, they are existent. How can we reject that it doesn't exist? Therefore, we can't reject it. Then can we accept it? We can't accept it. because it doesn't stand the test of truth. It doesn't exist at all periods of time. So then, what would you call it? That which is existing now, but doesn't exist at all periods of time. He says it is mithya, which has no independent existence, which has only dependent existence. That's the analysis is going to get into. So now we have to then ask naturally the question, what is Atma? Because Atma Satyam, Tadanyat Sarvam Mithyati. Then what is Atma? That's the next question. Atma kaha, Atma kaha, Stula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatirik, Stula Sukshma Sharirat Vyatiriktah, Panchakoshati San, Avastatraya Sakshi, Sachidananda Swarupa San, Yastishtati Sa Atma. He says Atma kaha. What is Atma? That's the question. He says Atma is that which is other than gross, subtle and causal body. Sthula means gross. Sukshma means subtle. Karana means causal. Atma kaha. What is Atma? The self. Then, first to know what is Atma, he is using a method of mentioning what all is not Atma, then coming to what is Atma. This is called negating the non-self and asserting the self. You understand? So he says that which is other than gross, subtle and causal bodies. Why we do this? Because we have to know the unknown from the known. You understand? What is known to us is this body. What is known to us is this mind. What is known to us is this intellect. What is known to us is the vasanas. We know about these things. But we don't know about Atma, the real self. So therefore, he is going from the known to the unknown. So first analyzing what is gross body, then subtle body, then causal body. And these three bodies, when analyzed from different angle, they are the 5 sheets covering the Atma as it were. Hence they are called as Panchakosha. So he says that Atma is beyond the 5 sheets. What is Atma? That which is other than the gross, subtle and causal body. Right? Why we say other than the gross, subtle and causal body? Then we need to understand what is that we mean by the word Atma. When we use the word Atma, what do we mean? Anybody? What is the meaning of the word Atma when we use it?
Swami Namaskar. The real self.
You don't mean that. What do you mean by Atma? I.
Atma probably what means.
Atma means I. Okay. I. So now, with this I, you have mixed the body and therefore you say, I am the body. With this I, you have mixed the mind and intellect. So you say, I am the subtle body. With this I, you mix the causal body, Karana Shariram. That which is the cause of the subtle and gross bodies are called Karana Shariram. So you mixed all this. So you have to, therefore, understand what this I is. Finally, you will declare this I is that supreme real self, not this body, mind, intellect. At the moment, when you say Atma, you are saying, it was Mukesh Nair who spoke, right?
Yes, Swamiji. Yes.
Yeah. So I am Mukesh Nair. I am this body. I am this mind. I am this intellect. So that I is Atma. You understand? So what is Atma? Atma means the word I. So now this Atma has to be separated from all the anatmas. So that's why he first says that which is other than the gross body, subtle body, and the causal body. And he puts it in plural: gross body, subtle bodies, and causal bodies. And it is beyond the five sheaths, the panchakoshas. What are the panchakoshas? He is going to analyze each of this. What is this gross body made up of? What is the subtle body? What is the causal body? What is this panchakosha? Everything is going to analyze. But just he is only mentioning it here. Beyond the five sheaths. What are the five sheaths? In the same three personalities called the gross, subtle, and causal, analyzed from different angle. He analyzes it as food sheath, then vital air sheath, mental sheath, intellectual sheath, and bliss sheath. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. These are the five sheaths covering the Atma as it were. And then he says, this personality, the body, mind, intellect, these five sheaths, when they are living in the world, experiencing, going through three different states called avastatrayam, which is what? Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Jagrat meaning waking state. Swapna means dream state. And Sushupti means deep sleep state. So he says, this Atma is beyond these three also, and it is remaining as what? Witness of these three states. Okay. So, first he is doing what? Negation. He has negated the gross body, negated the subtle body, negated the causal body, and says this Atma is beyond the gross, subtle, and causal body. It is beyond the five sheaths. It is also beyond the three states of consciousness. It is remaining as a Sakshi Chaitanyam for these three states of consciousness. These three states we call as conditioned consciousness. So the witness of the three states of consciousness. All this is put it in the negative, negation method. Then now he comes to assertion. Then what? What is Atma? He says, it is of the nature Sat Chit Anandam. Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. Sat means existence, that which exists at all periods of time. And it is of the nature of consciousness, awareness, knowledge. And it is of the nature of bliss, he says. So this is our visiting card. What is our visiting card? Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. Stula Sukshma Sharirat Vyatiriktaha Panchakoshat Atita San Avastatraya Sakshi. This is me. But I don't know myself as this now. I need to understand this. Then finally I need to declare that I am this. So now after this, he'll get into discussing each of this. What is Stula Shariram? What is Sukshma Shariram? What is Karana Shariram? Go step by step. So that's why we say we need to gain this knowledge, because it makes us understand about ourselves. See, Tattva Bodha discusses mainly the five things. First, it talks about the adhikaritva, qualification. Then it talks about jiva vichara, the inquiry into the individual, the you and me, all of us. Jiva vichara. Then jagat vichara, the third. Jagat vichara means analysis of the world. How did this world come about? What is this world made up of? What is the karanam for this world? And when you analyze the karanam, then it brings in the concept of Ishvara. So, Jagat Vicharam or Ishvara Vicharam means one and the same. Then it comes to that equation, the fourth one. What is that equation? Jiva Ishvara Aikya Sambandham. Ishvara is the essence in both the Jiva and the Jagat. The common denominator in both the Jiva and Jagat is Ishvara. So, Jiva Ishvara Aikya Sambandham. Now, knowing all this, what happens? That's the last he explains. Phala Vicharam. What is the fruit? What is the benefit we get from all this? What is the benefit we get? Samsara Nashanam. Destruction of the bondage. Jivan Muktihi. Liberation while alive. And that liberation continues after death. Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti is the phalam. Samsara Nashanam. Destruction of the bondage. That's the fruit. So why we have to do all this? To come out of the bondage. That's the benefit. You understand? Then means what? Then we can live happily ever after. Till such time, there is a knife always hanging above our head. As long as these conditions are fulfilled, I'm happy. Swamiji asks, is there anyone in this auditorium, in the lectures, who can throw up his arms and say that I am happy? And if one or two fellows throw up their arms and say, I'm happy, sir, then he asks, if this happens, will you be happy? If this happens, will you be happy? And somewhere down the line, everybody says, no, no, no. So, our happiness is conditioned. That is called bondage. How I can come out of that conditioning and be happy, whatever may be the situation external. That is called freedom. To be free at all times. That is called liberation. So he says, this is the phalam. So this is what Tattva Bodha analyzes. And this is what all scriptures talk about. Every scripture talks about this. So what is Atma? Atma means I. So who is this I? That's the question. This I is something different from the body. Why? Even though you sometimes may say, I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, etc. You also say, my body is paining, my body is aching, my mind is disturbed, my buddhi is not clear. You say all these things. So you are at sometimes saying, I am the body. Sometimes saying, my body. When you say my body means you are other than the body. Now, the analysis here is, what can I be? I can only be that which knows. I cannot be that which is known. I can only be the perceiver. I cannot be the perceived. Perceived is the object. Perceiver is the subject. Correct? Isn't it? So that means, though I now say I am the body, this body on careful analysis becomes an object. Isn't it? Then who is the subject that is different from the body? That's what he's saying. Other than the body. Then, other than the mind. So when we say other than the body, we may think I am the mind. So no, mind also at some point in time, you can know that you are the knower different from the mind. Mind in Vedantic parlance means both mind and intellect. All thoughts. When the thoughts are discriminative in nature, they are called intellect. When the thoughts are indiscriminate in nature, it's called mind. Okay. So I am other than the mind. Mind also can be objectified, na? Then I am something other than the mind, subtle body. Then vasanas. We are able to analyze and at least project the vasanas. So that means what? That is also an object. It is also something that can be objectified. So anything that can be objectified, I am not. Okay. So therefore he says, who am I? What is the self? I am that which cannot be objectified. Since these things can be objectified, they are not my real nature. They cannot be tattvam. They cannot be my real nature. They are not my nature. Okay. Then the same thing when analyzed, it is made up of what? This physical body made up of food. Hence it's called Annamaya Kosha. Then before coming to Manomaya Kosha, these physiological functions are happening. How they are happening? Because of pranas, the Pancha Pranas. So the Annamaya Kosha, the physical body can be objectified. Pranamaya Kosha also objectified. Mind and intellect objectified. Anandam is objectified. When I wake up from the deep sleep, I understand I was in bliss. Now that I've come to waking state, all my desires have come, my bliss is gone. So that is Anandamaya Kosha. I'm able to objectify that also. So I am other than that. Then, while I'm considering myself to be this body mind intellect complex, I'm going through different states: the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. I go through this. All of us who are studying the scripture now, sitting and reading, I suppose we are all in waking state. Then we go to sleep at night, then we go into dream. We experience a completely different world compared to this world. Then, as a waker, we say this is real. Then we go to dream. As a dreamer, you say that is real, you reject the waking state, like how the waker rejected the dream state. Then you go into deep sleep. The deep sleeper rejects both the waking and dream state. And you again come back to waking. So you go through these three states. You are able to see all these things, understand. So all this can be objectified. I am apart from this. And in and through all this, I is there existing. In and through all this, you're conscious. Right? And when you go to deep sleep, when all the desires have gone into unmanifestation, you are in Ananda. So you understand this. Then the Shastras, the Guru say, so therefore, that which was existing in all these three states, the I, because you're saying, I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am conscious, I am aware of the body, I am aware of the mind, I am aware of the intellect. And all throughout, what are you searching for? You are only searching for one thing. What is that? Happiness. So Shastra is asking why? You are into either pravritti or nivritti, either doing or not doing. Why? What for? Doing we think will bring us happiness. Then we feel, this doing is bringing me stress. So what should I do? I have to extricate myself from action. So then what do? I'll go to some spa, somewhere far away from Delhi. I'll go. Then there, after some time, the desires come. I'm agitated there. So again, I come to work. So initially, I work thinking that will bring me happiness. Then I want to get away from work because I feel that alone will bring me happiness. Then I get away. Then getting away also doesn't bring me happiness. Then again, I get back to work. So going on, action, inaction, action, inaction. This like this we are going. And that means what? All throughout we are searching for happiness. And that happiness we see that we were in when we were in deep sleep, when no thoughts were there, when no awareness of this body was there. Right? So, therefore, the Shastras say your real nature is Anandam. Till you achieve that, you will not rest content. That's why 24/7, 365 days, you're only searching for Anandam. Shastras give this example. The anything that is abnormal only is a matter of complaint. Anything that is normal is not a matter of complaint. You only complain when you're unhappy. You don't complain when you're happy. We are very happily married, sir. That is the problem. Will you say that? I hope not. There's some problem in the marriage, some unhappiness is there, then you will want to go for counseling, isn't it? So, unhappiness is not your natural state. That's why you're complaining about it. When you're in your natural state, happiness, you don't complain. So, therefore, Vedanta says that's your natural state, Anandam. Sat Chit Anandam is you. And all this you are not, is what he says. You understand? This is what is our visiting card. If you print this, it's too big. So you print a name, XYZ. But actually, this is what you are supposed to print. So that which is other than the gross body, subtle body, and the causal body, that which is other than the five sheaths, that which is other than the three states of consciousness, and my nature is of what? Sat Chit Ananda Swarupam. I am that which always exists. I am that which is always aware. I am that which is always Anandam, happy. This is me. And now he gets on to analyzing what is this Stula Shariram. Because now we talked about Stula Shariram. Then we need to study what is Stula Shariram. Gross body. See, the very analysis will make us become free from the pangs of all this. Idhar dard hai, udhar dard hai, idhar problem, udhar problem, You keep on saying, yahan chot lag gaya. When you do this analysis, the pain is in the body, not in the me. You are not still fully gone deeply and realize the self. Just this analysis itself will give you peace. Just this analysis. Because you stand up, temporarily you extricate any problem. See, even when you go to a psychiatrist or psychologist, he will first say, okay, tell me what is your problem. And you talk 1 hour appointment. He charges, I don't know how much he charges, maybe 10,000. And you go on talking for 55 minutes. Sometimes full 1 hour you talk. Then he'll say, okay, next week we'll meet. He sends you the bill, you pay. You have put out, now that has become object. That itself gives you some peace. You only spoke about your problem. And after you got somebody to listen, you exhausted all that has to be said. You vomited everything. It is all now become objects. It is objectified. The fact that it is objectified, you relatively feel better. Then when he analyzes it further and further, the more and more you objectify it, you are separating yourself from all that. Why did I create such a big fuss? That's the idea. That's how you become free from the pangs of all this. Just by knowing what is body, what is mind, what is intellect, nothing will happen. When we retain this analysis, then something will happen. Just analyzing will make you feel better. This is what a guru will do when you go to him or her. They do the analysis and you feel better. Ah, okay. What problem? No problem. Again, when you come out, you get into trouble. Why? Because you don't do the analysis. You want spoon feeding. See, this is the problem. Everything we need spoon feeding. When you are fed very well by somebody else, you are happy. You don't want to put in there. Really speaking, when you analyze, you make things objectified, you separate yourself from that, then you don't see it as a problem. You know how to handle it. And this is the difference knowledge brings in. The moment you gain the knowledge about it, you are treating that as something apart from you. And the fact that you see it apart from you, you deal with it. This is what he's doing. So next, obviously, what the question would be, what is Sthula Shariram? Because he said gross body first, then subtle, then causal body. So he'll analyze Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. And why it is called Karana Shariram? It is called Karana Shariram because it is the Karanam or the cause for Sukshma and Sthula Shariram. Therefore, it's called Karana Shariram. Then he will analyze the Panchakosha. What are the Panchakoshas? Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. Then he'll talk about the three avasthas. Avasthas What are the three states? Waking, dream, deep sleep. He will analyze that. Then he will come to Sat Chit Anandam. All this is what? What topic? Already we covered one topic. What topic? Adhikaritvam. हो गया. अभी we are in what topic? Jiva Vicharam. We are into analyzing the Jiva. Then the next topic will be Jagat Vicharam. You understand? After Jiva Jagat Vicharam, then we get into what? Jiva Ishvara Aikya Sambandham. Then we get into the real fruit, Pala Vicharam. What is the benefit? In fact, this is the method Swamiji has used when he wrote the book Vedanta Treatise. You go and see part 1, part 2, part 3. You will see the same thought flow. This is the way you can get out. Why we say approach the life methodically? Why do we call this as manual for life? Because it analyzes life. It analyzes the ingredients of life, the individual and the world, and makes you get out of it by bringing about the right understanding. Thereafter, you may be in it, but you are actually out of it. That's when you really start enjoying life. So that's why we say, when you really understand the Shastra, you begin to live and enjoy life. So let's get on to the next one. Stula Shariram Kim Panchikrita Panchamahabhutai Kritam Satkarma Janyam Sukha Dukkadi Bhogayatanam Shariram Asti Jayate Vartate Viparinamate Apakshiyate Vinashyatiti Shat Vikaravade Tat Stula Shariram. What is this Stula Shariram? Stula means gross. Understand? Kim, what is this Stula Shariram? What is this gross body? That's the question. He says that which is made up of 5 great elements, which has undergone the process of Panchikarana, born as a result of the good actions of the past. Satkarma Janyam. And he calls it as Bhoga Yatanam. When he comes to subtle body, he will use a different word. Here he is using the words very carefully. He is calling this gross body as what? Bhoga Yatanam, the counter of experience all our experiences, like joy, sorrow, etc. And it is something that can be subject, that undergoes, it is subjected to what? Six modifications called Shat Vikaras. What are they? Existing, taking birth, growing, then maturing, decaying, and death. This is what he called as Asti, Jayate, Vardate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyati. Iti means thus, these things. So, what is this body? First of all, this body is made up of five elements. He doesn't say just five elements. The five elements that has undergone the process of grossification called Panchikarana. Right? Now, he will talk about Panchikarana in detail, but let me just explain. What is this Panchikarana? See, this gross body, when you take, we know that it's made up of five elements. But can we call these as pure five elements? Everything is mixed here. So you cannot call it five pure elements, isn't it? So it is mixed elements. That means what? It should have existed in its pure form before. Right? So it has undergone some process. That process that it has undergone, he calls it as Panchikarana. You understand? With which the pure elements have become gross elements, and then they have combined together to form this gross body. That is what he calls as Panchikarana. And how do we get this body? He says, we've got this body Satkarma Janyam. You understand? We have done some good amount of good actions. As a result, we are born as human beings. Human being alone has the capacity to think, the capacity to choose. Human being alone has that capacity. Human being alone talks about all this. Human being alone questions these things. Human being alone feels the bondage. And human being alone can get out of this bondage. All other beings, they don't talk about all these things. I'm more concerned about when they're hungry, they want food. When they have the urge to procreate, they procreate. That's it. That's how they live. They don't need it. They don't have those faculties. So they just live like that and go. But having been born as a human being, you cannot live like that. You should not live like that. So you have to realize the self, the truth. You have the potential because all this is given. So then how did you get this body? Just like that you didn't get. You have put in good efforts, good actions, and it is born out of those good actions of the past. What he wants to say is, use this equipment, don't throw it away. So we don't do all this analysis to reject them. We do all this analysis to extricate my true nature and then put them to proper use. Why would you throw away all your earnings which you have got after so many years of effort? Understand? So it is born of the result of good actions of the past. And what is it? It is the counter of experiences of joy and sorrow. If you want to sell a book, you need a table on which you keep the book and then sell. You need a counter, isn't it? You are having a restaurant. You are prepared so many varieties. You are displaying them. You need a counter to display all that. Right? So that's what he's saying. So this physical body is not the real instrument of these experiences. When it comes to instrument, he's going to say that next in the subtle body. That is the instrument. Then this body is what? This is just the counter. It's the counter through which you go through the experiences of joy and sorrow. And it undergoes six modifications. It exists in the mother's womb, then it is taken birth manifest, then it grows, you know, through water, food, breathing, all that. Slowly the body is growing, then it matures. Initially when you are a small child, you don't have ego. And slowly you have ego. It's going on, growing further and further. It's maturing. And this body, after maturing, it also starts the process of decay. Then it goes through disease. You understand? And then it dies. Finally, what happens? It perishes. This is this body. A very simple, you know, discussion about this makes us become relatively peaceful because we understand for this is what this body is all about. As long as it is born and alive, it is a counter for experience. So, if I want to experience all this properly, I need to make sure the counter is taken care of. Obviously, next when we discuss subtle body, the instruments, which is the subtle body, also to be taken care of. So, Vedanta will not make you neglect anything. In fact, it will make you take care of everything. But even though you take care of things, you don't get bound by it. You remain detached from it once you have studied it properly. If you understand it correctly, then you would want everybody to study it, especially your children also to study it. Otherwise, you say, no. All these things I learn. How can you learn about all these things after you've destroyed everything? So therefore, he says, what is Sthula Shariram? This is the Sthula Shariram. These five elements that has undergone the process of Panchikarana, pentamerous, self-division and mutual combination. That's what it is. We'll discuss all these things in the next class. Today, just mentioning it. Then you've got it because of your good karmas of the past. It is not as though you have not done some bad karmas. You've done, but good karmas outweigh the bad. If it's too much good karma, then you'll have Deva Sharira. If it's too much negative, then you will get animal body. If it's more sattva, more good, little bad, that Mishra brings you the human embodiment, the counter of experience. And it goes through six modifications: existing, birth, growth, maturing, decay, disease, and death. This is the body. We'll discuss this further in the next class. Let's conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.